So hopefully you tried to fill this out. So we're using square root of x. So 2 to the right, we do square root of x. Right is minus 2 inside the square root. 3 units left would be x plus 3 inside the square root. 7 up would be x, and then plus 7 on the outside. 1 down is square root of x, and then minus 1 on the outside. In the y-axis is negative inside, and then in the x-axis would be negative on the outside of the square root of x. Shrink by factor of a third, so you do the reciprocal, so that would be 3 in the inside times the x. Stretch by factor of 2 would be 1/2 in the inside multiplied by the x. Stretch by factor of 4 is 4 times the square root of x. And then shrink by factor of 1/5 is 1/5 times the square root of x. Okay, here, now let's graph. So let's describe the transformation, identify if it's an even or odd index, then graph the parent and transform function, identify the domain and range. So first of all, this is a square root, so it's an even index, and it's transformed right 3 up 4. So let's graph the parent function first. The parent function, I'm thinking of the square root of 0, square root of x. So when I plug in 0, I get 0. If I plug in square root of 1, that's 1. Square root of 4 is 2. So this is the parent function. Now, to transform this, we just need to take the right 3 up 4 and shift it over. So we'll go right 3, 1, 2, 3, and up 4, 3, 4. So here's the first point. Then all you do is just copy the next points on the other curve. So notice from here, we did up, right 1, up 1, and then we could go right 1, up 3, right? It's exactly mirrored from the parent function. So there's not vertically stretched at all, that's it. Domain. The lowest x value that we have here is 3. So our domain is x is greater than or equal to 3, and then range, the lowest y value we have is y is greater than or equal to 3. Now, let's do the even or odd let's do letter B. So this is an odd index, and this is transformed, see, a horizontal reflection in the y-axis, and then it's also a horizontal shrink by 1/8. So let's graph the parent function first. So cube root of x. So cube root of x is 0. Cube root of 1 is 1. Cube root of negative 1 is negative 1. Cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. Cube root of positive 8 is positive 2. And so this is the parent function. And so let's graph the other one, negative 8. Cube root of negative 8x. So it still starts at the 0, 0 here. 0, 0. Then we need to plug in some numbers. So if we plug in negative 1, so cube root of negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8. So cubed root of 8 is a positive 2. So here. Then if we plugged in a positive 1, then it would be a negative 2. So let's think about what is another good number to plug in. So 8, let's see. How about 8 times 8? 8 times 8 is 64. And we do know the cube root of 64. The cube root of 64 would be 4. So let's say negative 8 times negative 8 is cube root of positive 64. So that would be 4. So at negative 8, we would be up 4. And then at positive 8 would be at negative 4, right? It's just reflected on the other side. And so here is this graph. The domain and range for both, domain and range for this function is all real numbers. All real numbers, I'll shorten it out. All real numbers. So try out the example below, the two examples below. Make sure you're looking at whether it's a square root or cube root. And then check Google Classroom for the answers for those.